All right, with that we are live. And yesterday I think it was streamed like in the midnight because I wanted to test the performance of the Final Fantasy 16 with the performance fixed mod. Turns out I think it's my OBS that's rendering the performance a little bit lower. So the game kind of ran fine, but my opinion about the game's performance still stands. Because in certain aspects of the game, it does completely uh, uses so much of the GPU. Uh, with my 3080, it's just insane. Speaking of insane, I think we are gonna go and see the next Unreal Engine update, which is Unreal Engine 5.5, because Unreal Engine 5 is not enough for us. So it's not enough for the GPUs anymore. We gotta get into the 5.5 to completely toast every GPU we got. So let's see about that. And for me, Unreal Engine is kind of cool, in my opinion. It's cool to look at, but that's all. It's just cool to look, but as soon as you go into the gameplay or anything aside from that, it just falls flat really hard, and it makes the game super unoptimized as fuck and unfun to play. You know, like it's barely pulling 60 FPS in many of the games, right? But I don't know. It's kind of in the both ways, if you ask me. Like, I do like it better graphics, but it's just when you're in the middle of the combat or when you're just walking past through something, it's not that is as impressive as people think it is. Not everybody is going to just stop there and look at a shop and then look at the items inside the shop and see how well the detail is, you know? It's just, it's just no. Like, I rather prefer a better, well polished gameplay than more higher end graphics, you know? Uh, I think surprisingly, with Unreal Engine 5, recently what I noticed was Wukong, right? The Wukong is the new Unreal Engine 5 that actually, my game that actually ran somewhat reasonably. So there is that. Surprisingly, it used a very low amount of VRAM, which is very interesting. Because if I remember it right, that thing didn't even go past 5 gigs in my GPU when I played it. You know, which is super cool. So that's a pretty good uh, improvement in Unreal Engine, if you ask me. So let's see about the Unreal Engine 5.5. Let's see how it goes.
I feel like, there's been a lot of Unreal 5 games that have been, let's be real, garbage. But man,
True. Unreal Engine 5 game that's been garbage. Italia, lots of the Fallen's kind of trash. The other Bleak Fate ran like complete dog shit. Most of the game, the problem with Unreal Engine 5 is always the performance and the way it looks. I think it's computer generated or something. So it's super freaking samey to look at. Like, especially Wukong. Holy shit. It looked exactly the same. Everywhere it looked super samey. I don't know. Maybe eventually they will figure that out. But Unreal Engine is very good in terms of scalability. You can show a big, vast world, but everything in that world looks super same. You know?
Black Myth Wukong was.
Ooh, yeah. I kind of disagree on that one.
Oh,
Straight up. For me, Black Myth Wukong ran well, but have you seen Final Fantasy's Forest? Final Fantasy 16 blows Black Myth Wukong's Forest out of the water. Straight up.
Like that
Maybe it ran like. Maybe I run it on lower settings. I don't remember, but I'm not impressed by Black Myth Wukong's graphics.
Wukong was
not
the
so much.
craziest tech demo for Unreal that there's ever been. It was peak. Yeah, so good.
I think probably I would argue Final Fantasy 7 is a better example. You know? Final Fantasy 7 was insane in Unreal Engine.
Thank you, Simon. Hey, Victor.
Compare Final Fantasy 7 to Final Fantasy 16. Final Fantasy 7 kind of looks better, straight up.
Everyone.
Some
jump right into
aspects.
Okay.
Ah,
When we're looking
service.
where to take Unreal Engine in the future, we start with the user,
Hmm.
asking ourselves how the tools and the tech get out of their way as they bring their ideas to life.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
One challenging limitation
I think that's always the problem. Like they kind of went for the lazy users that don't want to optimize this shit, so it just auto optimize. When you do the auto optimize stuff, it just makes the game look samey and least effort. You can just see it if there is a higher amount of effort went into the optimization of that just by looking at the game. Unfortunately. I think RTX ray tracing is also like that. Because even before ray tracing, the lighting was pretty good. Even now, the lighting is pretty good, the baked in lighting. But they went real time ray tracing, right? But it's just the performance. It's always been the performance. I'm gonna mod rage to yell at the top of the mountain. If the game fails to run below 60 FPS, above fails to run at 60 FPS, that game is dog shit for me, straight up.
for our creators has been
I don't care how good your game looks. 60 FPS below, dog shit.
the
It's a nice
cost of
shirt.
shadow casting lights. To that
Yeah,
end, we've
see?
developed
Ray
new
tracing.
technology that
Shadow
enables
casting.
artists to use orders of magnitude more and
Uh-huh.
higher quality light sources than ever before.
How about you guys can figure something out from fixing this video? Look at this guy's t-shirt and see how pixelated mess this is.
Magnitude more
Look at this. I can see
and
it.
higher quality light sources.
It's like I'm looking at
than ever before.
Minecraft on his
Let's take an
t-shirt.
early look at this new feature we're calling Mega Lights.
Mega
And who better
light.
to guide us through this experience than our intrepid explorer from Lumen in the land of Nanite, Echo.
All right, let's see it.
That's mega light.
Let's see what's up ahead, Victor.
Like this is the problem right here. You see the wall? Like look at the desolation. There is so much detail. It looks like it's so detailed, right? The thing is, it's just a wall. Nobody is gonna just sit there and then look at it for like 10 hours straight. But I would argue this would be amazing if you were taking a movie. I think the best example I recently saw was the Puss in Boots, the new movie. Look at the movie on that one. The animation, everything on that is just insane. Always these engines will show their true potential when there is a pre-rendered cutscene or pre-rendered movie. Real time, not so much. You need a 4090 for this shit.
This
It just nukes your CPU.
This is-
Even in this demo, look at how laggy it is.
man, this is
It's
fucking
10
amazing.
FPS. Look at that.
I'm
People
gonna
are
be real,
noticing
like,
instantly.
I know, like, maybe it's like I'm easy to impress, but as somebody who grew up, like, my game was Super Mario World, to see this, unbelievable.
Yeah, I do agree. The amount of shit in the screen is really good, really high, but that's all it is. The amount of shit in the screen. Nobody cares. At least I don't care.
Before
Like,
we get
what
into
is the gameplay?
details of Mega Lights,
Like, if this is your gameplay, look at the gameplay right there. Just walking to place is your
before
gameplay.
we get
This
into
would be
the details
impressive.
of Mega Lights, I first wanted
Yeah.
to talk about this environment. Built using a suite of brand new assets from the Quixel Megascans
Look at all that.
library.
Yeah, look how many things are on the screen. Kiss your CPU goodbye, it's gonna die.
We've also partnered with Kitbash 3D.
So these all got
The problem is, this is another problem I noticed recently in the new CPUs. AMD CPU has a CCD structure, right? CCX or CCD, I don't know. So it's a chiplet design. So it has to transfer information back and forth to the IO die from the CCD die. So if you have to render something in the real time, there is a latency between them. It will dip your FPS significantly. For best example I can give for you, run that Plague Requiem in a 3900X. You won't ever go past 50 FPS on that game.
For 3D
Because there is so much information that's going on in the screen, it has to send data back and forth to your CPU and IO die, to your GPU and into RAM. That mix between is going to ruin it.
models
Straight up.
material
That's why most new games will probably run a little bit better on Intel processors than AMD processors.
But you look at like
Because
all
it-
the little objects and everything in here.
Yeah.
I feel like one of the craziest things about Unreal 5 is the fact that it has the ability to render so many objects without losing a massive amount of quality. Because like back in the day, you remember like that used to be like the main factor. Did y'all ever like back in WoW, like you would turn your camera in a raid to where like it would look at the fewest amount of people so you could do a boss fight with more FPS?
True. Yeah, that's the problem of CPU, not GPU. Because the more amount of objects in your screen, it will hammer your CPU every time. But I think with the Lumen technology and stuff, I think it will eventually get to that better point. Better, but in the future. But right now, it just annihilates your CPU.
Yeah, right. And so like it's crazy for me to see this. Holy cow! Yeah, that's
You can soon find many of
That's
these
the struggle
assets on our
POV,
new
right?
Fab Asset Marketplace, if you want to use them in your
Yeah.
own projects.
yeah. Look at this.
Insane amount of desolation, detail, so many objects in the screen.
Moving on, let's talk megalights.
The worst part about it is, even if it's CPU intensive, it will also be GPU intensive. You know, these textures, if those being a dumbass and then put 4K textures on this shit, your GPU is gonna
Greenlighting
cry
is
as
at
well.
its best when
Yeah.
Like, can y'all imagine like if this was a Bethesda game? Like we'd be getting like it'd be like 2 FPS. Yeah.
I mean, it's already running at 10
without
FPS
technical
by the looks of
constraints.
it.
like Nanite did for triangles or Lumen for a global
Look at the pop in there. You see?
Look
constraint.
at this.
Like Nanite did
Look at that. Look at this shit.
for triangles or Lumen for a global illumination.
It's all over the
Megalights
place.
removes limitation in a whole new category. Direct
Wait.
light.
What the fuck? So that's not a pop in. That's actually another world.
Jesus
Cool.
Christ. Look at that.
Take, for example, these textured area lights. Considered the gold standard of offline rendering.
Bro, this is going to be so crazy for like Cyberpunk and shit. Oh my god. That's
Oh yeah, they can put the ads on this billboard. Yeah,
cool. Yeah.
I can see it.
Here they are, in real time, spilling vibrant color into the scene.
Ah, I see what's going on. So the megabyte is, I assume, when the scene changes, the color of the surrounding changes, isn't it? Like a TV you are
soft
watching.
shadows and illuminating
time.
the environment in a way artists
Yeah.
simply couldn't have done before.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Once again, good to look at, nothing add to the gameplay.
Oh my god.
And a whole new tool in the creator's toolkit is huge, but that's not the only way Megalights makes things better. Let's see what's next.
Witcher 4? Yeah, CD Projekt Red said they're moving over to using Unreal, right? And so we can expect to see
So it looks like
Cyberpunk
Echo
2
has
and
found
Witcher
herself
4 in
quite
this.
an interesting marketplace here. It's just about
I'm not
open-
sure if they have their update transfer very, what do you call it, fluid, and it doesn't have much of obstacles. I think there is a possibility Witcher 4 could be on Unreal Engine 5.5. But usually once they fix on an engine, they won't really change it because there is so much issues that could happen. You know? Like it's like a castle of cards. If one card fucks up, every aspect of the game will break. So I'm not sure, but it would be nice if it is.
the
You
deck.
know?
Look at that.
Let's turn on some of these shop fronts and see what's for sale.
Yeah. Holy shit.
There's something missing though. The scene, it's flat, it's undefined. Let's turn
Uh-huh.
on shadows, but not just for a few important lights, for every single light in the entire view.
Ah, that kind of actually looks worse.
Jesus.
That kind of looks actually worse, but once again, it would look amazing on a movie. Not gonna work on a gameplay. Like nobody gives a fuck. I think it could work on some kind of gameplay, like Alan Wake 2. But that game is not a game at all. It plays like a movie, right? So if a game is like that, this kind of works in that scenario. But people always still that criticize that game for its dog shit performance. It's always the performance, dude. It just doesn't run very well. Straight up. If you have anything below the top of the line computer, it will run like complete dog shit.
Oh my,
That was pretty cool, though.
bro! I want to go again.
But not
It started from all the way back there. Look at that. Here,
there's something missing
To
though.
here.
Scene, it's flat. It's undefined.
but I rather prefer this lighting over the shadows because it looks
Let's
super
turn on
dull.
shadows, but not just for a few important lights, for every single light in the entire view.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, this looks dull.
That
To
is
be honest.
so clean. Oh my god.
From these main shop fronts to the screens, the displays, the flickering oil
Jesus
lamps,
Christ.
string lights, candles, signs, we're free to use
I think this could work if it's a first-person shooter game. I think there is a possibility. Cyberpunk is a first-person shooter game, but that game is...
whatever lights we need to tell our story.
Jesus, look at that.
Candles, signs, we're free to use whatever lights we
Oh my
need to tell
God.
our story and bring this beautiful environment
Yeah, I think it's gotten to pass to the point. It's not real. It's becoming unreal at this rate. You know,
to life.
straight up. Nothing in real life looks like this.
Now,
I think that one of the things about this that's like
Straight
so
up.
impressive and incredible to me is the fact that they've created a tool that can allow people to do this with like a fraction of the effort and time and investment that they used to.
Yeah.
Because like you can look back and like there are some old games
There is only one catch in that. Kiss your performance
that
goodbye.
recreate things like this.
It's gonna
But
run like
it was
complete dog
all
shit.
done from scratch. And I think that what's so impressive about Unreal Engine is that they have like a machine that can generate these outcomes at realistic levels on a mass scale.
Yeah. That is also the problem. The realistic level generation by a machine looks very artificial. For prime example is that the third level of Wukong, the desert area
That's what's insane
looks
about
samey
it,
as
right?
fuck.
Like,
Especially the mountain structure. If you see that, it looks like so artificial.
you take something that like in the past was handmade and you just give it to basically everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, make it more epic. Yeah, exactly. This is what actually it looks like.
density of
cheaper,
light sources
yeah.
you see here
It's a
is
double-edged
extremely
sword, yes.
high.
Cheaper
I think the next Pixar movie is gonna be God tier. Straight up.
money-wise and also
this is what you
performance-wise.
get when artists are
Look at
working
this,
playfully
dude.
without limitation.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
Let's go back to the
Unbelievable.
scene.
These guys are basically at this point gods. They are creating worlds. Look at how much complex this game is. Look at this shit.
Victor, let's go.
I think these are all light angles that's a race coming
Let's
from.
activate all these animated drones and robots. Over
Wait, what?
1,000 individual shadow casting light sources in this view alone.
Okay, let's see it.
Oh my god, even in that render it lags like a bitch.
Like little fireflies.
All
Holy
of these lights,
shit.
they're movable, dynamic, scattering through the volumetric fog. And
I think I saw something like this in a movie.
Without
Yeah, this would look phenomenal in a movie. Sucks at the gameplay.
Somebody says in chat, they say, I've seen 15 demos that look this impressive, but not one time they showed any gameplay. The one time they did was that Matrix game, and it was absolute trash gameplay. Didn't we just talk about that with Black Myth Wukong? I feel like Black Myth Wukong is a proof of concept. I think Vindictus also, the demo for Vindictus is a proof of concept too.
I haven't seen the demo of
I would-
Vindictus because the Vindictus I seen was a trash ass MMO that looks like dog shit. I gotta see the next new one. But Wukong, is it that impressive? Let me pull up Wukong. Because for me, when I ran it on my PC, it didn't look that impressive at all. Let me see it. You see this? DLSS. I mean, I think he is running at 4K, so still. But he is running this game basically at 720p. Like, you see that, right? It looks super artificial. It does have detail, but it has that uncanny artificiality to it. And the color panels, look at this. Not that differentiation, you basically look like looking at the same color. Yeah, look at this is the trash I am talking about. You see, every fucking thing is yellow, and the detail doesn't mean shit. See? This is exactly what I meant. This is not impressive for me at all. All it does is it looks like shit and then fucks my performance. You know? Look at this. Look how dull the colors are. This is the problem. Like, let me show you Final Fantasy's Forest. Like, I saw it and I was impressed by how good the Final Fantasy Forest was. Forest. Look at this. Compared to Wukong, look at this shit. No shimmering, no artificial anything. And it looks beautiful, at least for me. See that? And you're saying Wukong looks better? How? In which dimension Wukong looks better than this? If you render this fucker in your PC and looking at the screen, it looks like real. It looks like you are inside that forest. When I'm looking at this piece of shit, it looks like I'm in a video game. Straight up. I don't know what they did with this game, but holy fuck they done it, dude. Amazing, my god. Every aspect of this game is amazing. I think even in this gameplay, he's not rendering at full resolution. You can see it's just shimmering. Look how good the character looks. You see this? It looks so stupidly good on the gameplay. This is not impressive for me. Looking at Final Fantasy and comparing to this is not that good. Straight up.
Vindictus was Unreal, right? I believe it was Unreal.
The funniest part is this game is not even Unreal, I think. Final Fantasy 16 engine is completely different. If it's Unreal, that would be insane. Proprietary engine, yep, there it is. 16 have been published by, yeah. I don't think you can even render this game at natively. This is also a problem. The game looks so good, but it requires a 3090 to play it at 30 FPS, 60 FPS high. Like, that is the problem. Like, I modeled it out when I'm looking at my GPU just killing itself at 90%. When I went to the forest and my FPS dipped to 30. You know? I rather take 60 FPS than this amount of graphics. Even then, my complaint is about always be performance. You know? Because this is the problem people don't realize. The lower the FPS you have, the unresponsive your gameplay is. Like, if you're playing a bitch on 30 FPS, your game you have an input lag that's just stupidly bad. Like play a game if you can in a higher refresh rate and play it on a lower refresh rate. You will see the difference almost night and day. At least for me, at least. I played that Redout 2 once at 60 FPS and once at 200 FPS. 200 FPS was super responsive. It's so responsive in a fact, like I can't literally control my ship in 60 FPS anymore.
Hellblade
It was
2?
that
Yeah,
different.
I don't know about Hellblade 2, but yeah, there are games that use this.
Nah, Hellblade is dog shit. Come on. I mean, it's a good gameplay, but it's a decent game. I don't say I'll take that back. It's not a really good game or anything, but it's kind of scuffed. This is the scuffed
Exceptions to the rule for
version.
now? There are always going to be exceptions to the rule. Because, and here's the reason. One thing that this has done, which is interesting, is that Unreal 5 has made it to where the graphics for a game and the fidelity for a game is no longer a selling point for the game in a big way.
Yeah.
Because like back in the day.
Yeah, it kind of watered down the graphics in it. Because people will learn the lesson and then don't give a shit about the graphics anymore, which is a good thing, you know. But at the same time, every game is still aspiring to be a fidelity next Unreal Engine 5 giga bullshit. But the performance will take so hard. You know? I want to use this OST as my theme. I think I haven't even finished this game, but I'm giving this game a 9 out of 10. Straight up. This is a game of the year material. This shit is art. Best Final Fantasy ever made. Straight up. Not even close. The story, the character, the gameplay, holy shit, dude. Amazing Final Fantasy. You gotta play this game. And you say, who comes better? Get the fuck out of here. Wukong looks like this. And we got this. Get the hell out. Fuck you, double standard bullshit. You dumb.
Was insane just because of the way back in the day, like for example, Final Fantasy X was insane just because of the way that it looked. Super Mario 64 was insane just because of the way that it looked. Super Mario Brothers 3 was insane just because of the way that it looked. Now I feel like if I see
the only game that's going to impress me in terms of graphics is probably be Sword Art Online. Full nerve gear, full immersive gameplay, interactable elements everywhere, full Sword Art Online. Nothing else is going to impress me anymore. I'm just so sick of this.
see a beautiful
No matter what, no matter how good the screen graphics got into, you are always going to look at a flat screen. That's never going to change. The second brand that can change that is going to be that brand. Straight up. It's impressive. This game is impressively looking, but holy fuck, you need a 3090 for this. Go see my benchmarks in my channel. Like, I'm gonna put this video in my channel too. So scroll down and see my benchmark, see my 3080, just killing itself at 1080p 60 FPS.
Full, amazing, good-looking game. I don't immediately like fucking lose my mind.
Yeah.
Like unless there's
neither.
a style about.
I never gave a shit about that at all. Like maybe GTA 6 would be interesting, you know,
That I like
because of the
because
graphics.
it's
Witcher 4 would be might be interesting with the graphics, but rest of them not so much. If there is another Elden Ring coming out with better graphics, I will be like the first concern for me is gonna be is it gonna run well? Are they gonna fuck it with the demo?
accessible to so many people now.
That's what am I thinking,
We hit a
yaar.
plateau on graphics. I think that by the time that we get to 60 and 70 90s, like with graphics cards, obviously, I think that we're going to see a transition that's changing from being able to and I think that we're already seeing this happen. Like the improvements in quality will be about performance and rather than rendering capability. Because
Yeah.
I do think
I hope we reach that point sooner because this guy doesn't know what he's talking about because he's not very knowledgeable of the computer. Do you know how much power the 4090 uses? Do you know how much heat that shit produces? Your CPU uses 300 watt, your GPU uses 600 watt now. The 5090 is a TDP, the normal TDP, the baseline, it's not the spike. If that shit is going to come out with 600 watt of voltage, and it's going to spike with 1200 just by the GPU itself, you're going to fucking sitting in a oven, dude. You need a separate power supply just for your GPU. How many people can even render that? How many people can even experience that kind of gameplay? This is not going to run on a PS5. It's not going to happen. Like, this is the problem. Stop fucking making games for 4090s. People don't have 4090s. Most people are sitting at 3060s. Watch this. Let's see what is the strongest card that Steam has. September 2024, this month, right? The mainstream GPU is a 3060. Let's see the fastest one. We got a 4070. That's almost as performance as the 3080. That's it. You're gonna make a fucking video game for, let's see where the 4090 is. This, So you're gonna make a game for people that is like 0.91 percentage? Good fucking luck with that. You know? Make a game for normal people that has this. You know? These people, even for a 4070 Super, I'm not complaining. But the game should run natively 1080p 60 FPS with zero complaints on a 4070 Super. If the game fails to do that, in my opinion, that game is unoptimized. Straight up. 4070 is this generation, dude? Like, what? What are you doing? Like, do not listen to this kind of guy. Like, this is not a good
that we
idea.
are hitting a plateau with graphics. We're thinking
I think we already done that with the what game I saw and I've seen that. Horizon Forbidden West. I
These are
think we
beginning
did
to
that hit
photo-
that plateau. That is the best graphically looking game you're ever gonna get on a PlayStation. It's not gonna get better.
realistic
Straight
in a
up.
lot of cases.
PlayStation 5, that is the best you get. Maybe Ratchet and Clank.
That's already the case? I think it is. I think
Yeah,
Unreal
it
5
plattered
in
so hard.
itself
It's
is
worth
an example of
mentioning
that.
removing these limitations around
Like, look at, like, it uses 300 watt your CPU and then your GPU uses 600 watt now. Like, you need a freaking 1000 watt power supply to even power that fucking thing, and it spikes to 1200 just with the GPU. The next one is 600 watt. Like, what? How the fuck you are gonna get a new UPS to power that stupid thing? But I would appreciate NVIDIA for making the 4070 200 watt because that's a God's gift. To be honest, that is the best GPU you should buy right now. 4070 or 4070 Super. But Jesus Christ, this is getting way out of hand. Like, that's a Titan card. Shut the fuck up. If you think 4090 is mainstream, shut the fuck up. That's a Titan card. Nobody is going to be able to afford that. Only rich people, that's 0.91% in Steam has it. And Steam has the most user base in the whole world. Shut the fuck up and make the game for 4080s and 4070s. 4090 is not even supposed to be a mainstream car. Where is the Titan car then? That's the Titan card, dude. Come on. I mean, it is mainstream. You can buy a 4090, but look, let's see how much it is for a 4090. You want to spend 3 lakhs on a 4090 to play a game? 3 lakhs? You fucking stupid? At this point, just get a console, 500 bucks, 50,000. The game will exactly run the same, if not somewhat reasonably. This is the funny part. The GPU itself costs 3 lakhs almost. And then you have to buy a CPU, you have to buy RAM, you have to buy hard disk. Not hard disk, SSD. You have to buy the fucking cooler. That's like 15,000 to cool this fucking thing. And this will run like a fucking furnace. You know, do you know how hard the 3080 gets when I play video games? Do you know how much this shit? It's gonna be furnace, dude. You're using a steam engine at that rate. Like, Jesus Christ. It's gotten way out of hand. It's been extreme. I don't think any gaming PC should use a 1000-watt power supply more than that. Like, at that point, if you need a 1000-watt power supply to power your PC, that's a workstation. More than that, that's a server. Like, what the fuck is even happening with the games?
Light count and shadows. It doesn't just apply to point and spotlights, but to area lights as
The
well.
body cam game, yeah.
Megalights enables artists to use area lights.
Look how stuttery this is. Even in the
smoothly as they
demo, it's
would
a stuttery
any other light
mess.
source.
I think this game is dipping to 2420.
Now, whether
I
you're
mean, it looks
using
good.
textured area lights, light functions, crisp shadows, or lovely soft shadows,
I think there is a market for this. Like the game Detroit Become Human, probably you can make a game like that. Real time game like Dark Souls, get the
you
fuck
can
out of
have
here.
huge
That's not
numbers
gonna
of
happen.
lights of any type.
It's gonna run like
in
complete
whatever
ass.
configuration works best for your scene.
Jesus. And you
My
can see
PC
how
is
this
lagging.
builds on each other, right? Because if you look at like this reflection here, I think it was in Unreal 5.2 or 5.3, where they changed the way that light and like reflections were done. And you can see clearly how like these different types of innovations have built upon each other. Because this is 5.5.
As we
Yeah.
send Echo off on her next adventure, we should mention
Yeah, because this is the problem. He is not using a low end. Not low end. My PC is not a low end, dude. 3080 with a 5700X 3D is not low end. I think it's a mid range. If it's low end, let me know in the comment section because I don't know. I thought it was a mid range PC,
performance.
And keep
but he is having a top of the line PC, so he doesn't even realize how bad it is in the lower end and the mid range. You know. But he doesn't even realize. He's too rich to even
One day,
realize what
Unreal
is
7
going
will
on.
live on a PlayStation 5. Megalights is included in
Wait, what?
off on her next adventure. We should mention performance.
and keep in mind,
What
one
you
day
see
Unreal
here is
7
running
will come out.
live on a PlayStation 5. Megalights is included in
He says one day this game will run at PlayStation 5. No shot it's gonna run at PlayStation 5.
UE55.
Lights in each building.
I just don't believe it. Let's see how much how will Wukong run at PS5. Forty 40p, 60 FPS. Is it HDR? This game did not look like this when I played it. I think this is HDR. Ooh, look at this shit. You see this? You see this, you fucker? You're gonna tell me this game is gonna run at PlayStation 5? And this is the funniest part. 60 FPS it shows, right? Look at this scotch right there. Frame generation on. 1080p 60 FPS. Shut the fuck up. Like, if you can't even make a game that runs at PlayStation for 60 FPS, get the fuck out of here. Like, PlayStation is not a weak console as you think it is. It's super powerful. Like, fuck off.
Building, yeah.
It's an experimental feature in 5.5, and you can also check it out on the expo floor.
Like, every GPU, my 6700 XT, I had the AMD GPU before, right? That's exactly the PlayStation GPU. If not faster, that's GPU aged like milk. As soon as I launched Final Fantasy, I knew I am bottlenecking my game with my GPU. It's just miserable. It sucks to do that, dude. I just got in a 3080 and then seeing my FPS dipping to 60 is just sucks. It makes me depressed.
Look at all the pretty pixels.
And this is the funny part. 3080 is actually somewhat faster than a 4070. So imagine buying a 4070 and then seeing a gameplay not even going past 60 FPS in 1080p. 1080p. 1080p, dude.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
That's insane.
No ray tracing, nothing. 1080p, native resolution. Can't run
Thank
it.
you very much. Back to you, Simon.
Bro, they just say, all right, there it is. Oh my god.
Wow, thanks guys. That was truly amazing.
That's incredible.
This feature will greatly simplify the lighting process and open up many possibilities.
See, that's really the
Yeah.
point, right? Is like how it gives people the ability to do this without having to hand make everything. Unreal 5 still plagued by transversal stutter and shader complication stutter until they fix that. I don't give a shit about any of these tech demos. Yeah, I mean, Wukong has a few problems with that, but I think also like you're gonna have issues with any game engine.
I think, I think Wukong kind of fixed that stated troublesome stutter with the shader caching. I think it happens worse on AMD GPUs because AMD sucks. But in NVIDIA, in both the GPUs, they pre-cache the shader, so it won't stutter. But it is a slog to do that. For a good example, try running Last of Us the new remake and then wait for shader caching. It's going to take you at least an hour. I think, the shader performance is completely valid. That complaint is completely valid and they have to fix that.
And it logically makes sense that eventually this will get ironed out. I just think that like the fact that you're able to do this on like a procedural level is unbelievable. It's unreal, you know? Like there it is. Unreal 5 stutters more than I do. Good one. So yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that's an issue. But man, it's
Yeah,
a
I
tool
think
for
it's a
creative
massive
use.
issue.
I think so too.
It's a tool for movies. I think you can make a good looking movie with this one. But I don't think in terms of gameplay it's gonna run like complete dog shit. I haven't played the Lords of the Fallen, but it kind of fixed that, I think, with the new patches and stuff. But I'm more worried about the performance though. Like it's just like Wukong's problem is that it's just all flash, no substance. Like the game looked good, I guess, maybe for some people, but for me, I'm not impressed when I looked at this. You know, like when I looked at the Final Fantasy. Like when I look at this, I'm not impressed by Final Wukong at all. You know.
I wish it actually made it
But it's just the performance. Even this game runs like complete dog shit.
easy to create like this. You need 3D models. These are not tied to any engine. Well,
Yeah.
they said that they provide a lot of 3D models inside of the engine, and then they also have a thing.
I think the technology they are aspiring for is just the 3D scanning. They just have to scan it and then it will just put the asset into the engine, which is a really good what do you call it? Feature. I think from what I learned, Wukong did that with their structures and the stuff. Like if you can see that in the third level, I think the baby fight was kind of like that. They just scanned the 3D models and then import
where
it
you
into
can
the
import
engine.
3D models based off of photographs, but it's probably
Yeah.
not going to be like super good yet. So you're
It's more
already
like a
seeing some of
scan,
that
yeah.
happen
3D
already. They
scan.
give you everything. Yeah. And so Quixel was free out this year. Asset packs, yeah. A good example of an asset pack is that there's actually a game that was an asset pack. It was called The Day Before, and so it's quite common. And like, yeah, it's like you can't really tell. Like, look at that and compare it to this. This is just, bro. It's man, that is clean. Holy shit! I can't wait to see what Cyberpunk 2 is going to look like. Incredible. Yeah, shaders, it's amazing. It really is. Like, this is unbelievable, man.
Probably won't even release.
Legacy looked amazing. Yeah, it did. Hogwarts Legacy also was a Unreal 5 game too, at least if I remember right.
Hogwarts Legacy still has the same traversal issue. Game has performance issue.
Benchmarking. Well, the other thing to keep in mind with performance benchmarking is that that's always going to get better. So while we do have stuttering issues now,
How can you give people like that kind of guarantee? Like how? Like come on! I mean, what standard, what aspect you know that you can give a guarantee like that? Just come on! I don't think this. Like I said once again, I don't think this guy should talk about performance at all.
I think that over time you can easily assume that that will improve and get better. Oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
PAX Day.
Dude speaks like he's working for Unreal Engine's PR department. Unreal Engine game, almost every one of them I played run like complete ass. Straight up. I think the only game that ran buttery smooth is Liza P. Let me see Liza P. That game is Unreal Engine 4. Ayo. Jesus Christ. Liza P, even then at launch, it had some issues. But for me personally, that is by far the best running game that I've seen in an Unreal Engine 5. Unreal Engine 4, that is. Unreal Engine in general. Like, get the fuck out of here. Shut the fuck up about performance. You don't know what you're talking about. When you have a 4090 and a 900K, even though it's not, the fastest PC in the fucking world, the performance get improved again. Why? Why should the consumer has to wait for the games to patch their performance? Like come on.
This PAX Day also has an early.
I respectfully disagree with asmongold on this one. Performance he should not be talking about.
So we'll see what the tech demo for this game is. Unfortunately, PAX Day is just a tech demo. It took
Cyberpunk 2 years to make that game functionable. It took freaking Last of the Fallen 6 months to make that game functionable. It took Elden Ring to freaking forever to fix the fucking game. Like, come on. Performance has always been the problem with these kind of games.
It seems like the combat and the gameplay really haven't been very good, and the game hasn't really retained a lot of people, but the tech demo for it looks great.
Actually?
Thanks, Dane.
Oh, I know. I think I've seen a little bit about this game, but I'm not really impressed with it.
I'm
City Builder Survival Garbage, right?
CEO at Mainframe Industries.
And I'm Solkaro, co-founder
Dead game?
Well,
for now, yeah.
Super exciting to hear.
Until they get it.
Yeah, it's a dead
We're a
game.
European-based independent developer, a small team passionately crafting a one-of-a-kind MMO. It's a project some of us have been dreaming of for more than 20 years.
Yeah, that's a problem.
We
One
call
of a
it
kind MMO, it's going to be Misha's
really
game.
We call it a social sandbox MMO. Taking inspiration from medieval Europe, PAX Day is a vast open world shared between thousands of players. Here, you choose the role you want to play, explore the land, build your home, and forge your reputation.
First and foremost, PAX Day is a place. As we set about creating an MMO for the modern age, we knew the first thing we had to get right was the world.
I think PAX Day is actually a really good example of like the capability of this type of an engine. Because like the level of scale and building that you could do in this game, it was pretty much unparalleled.
Unreal Engine with an MMO, good fucking luck with that.
Right? Especially with like this level of
Yeah, good fucking luck with that.
A lot of time establishing the right atmosphere. We want the world of PAX Day to feel grounded and familiar, while at the same time looking cinematic, more vibrant, and larger than life.
Yeah, New World did a good
Unreal
job with
Engine
that.
empowers a relatively small team to
Ah, shut the fuck up over the New World. That game is dog shit. Nobody plays that fucking garbage. New World, New World. Let's see, New World. How well the New World is doing. Dog shit game. I am actually a more fan of, but holy shit, that game was sucked. Dead game. Straight up. New
way
World,
above
Andy.
our weight class in terms of
I mean, I wish that game was popular. Like, I'm not a freaking hater or anything. But holy shit, that game plays like
project scope
ass.
and quality.
Dog shit story, dog shit combat, dog shit performance, dog shit music, dog shit, dog shit, dog shit. Everything is dog shit on that. Like, why do you play that game? If the story was good, I would have played it. If the combat was good, I would have played it for a little bit. If the music was good, I would have just looked here to it. You know, nothing in this game is good. Everything is bad. You gotta have an MMO that has a good story, dude. Straight up. I'm saying it right now. You have to have an MMO if you want to be successful or even remotely alive. You gotta have a good story. What's the point of a world being alive if there is no lore behind it? What the fuck? Jesus.
Lumen allows us to achieve unparalleled realism in our environments, while Nanite ensures that even the most intricate details are rendered flawlessly
Useless.
without compromising performance.
Which is true.
If there is no freaking lore behind this, this is all worthless to me. Worthless bricks and sand.
Players can gaze out over miles of terrain, spotting distant landmarks and player-built cities that invite exploration.
One of the
Jesus.
most powerful extensions we've made to Unreal is the ability to seamlessly transition player state between Unreal servers. By stitching together a fleet of Unreal servers, we create a game world over 150 square miles in size that can support over 8,000 players in a single game instance. As players travel,
Thank fucking God. I am so glad that there is innovation being made in this direction.
I wonder how the performance is and if the traversal between the server change is fluid.
I hate games
Instead of
where
going
it's
to
like
the
it
log
doesn't
view.
feel like an MMO because you don't see all the players around you. I think being part of
Yeah.
a
That's the once again he doesn't know what he's talking about because the problem with the MMOs has always been the CPU. Like you cannot have 100 different players on 100 different levels. Like with 100 skill abilities on the same place, it will run at 2 FPS. For prime example, go play Guild Wars and then turn on all your graphic settings and go into the Lion's Den. Lion's Den or Lion's Arch, I think, the main city hub, and see how performance is going to tank. One of the reasons is your CPU can't handle it, another one is the engine can't handle it either. It's not meant to be. Our technology, we are limited by our technology of our time. The problem always been with these kind of MMOs is the CPU.
crowded like online space is so cool. It's like when a
Yeah.
world buff goes out in classic WoW and like everybody's there with the Onyxia buff. It's so cool.
servers are automatically spun up.
Hello,
ensuring
games
smooth
on,
gameplay
meow.
experience.
Hello. I think it is cool. I do wish there is a game like that, but I think I know why it doesn't exist.
PAX Day is a
I completely
huge
understand
push
why
the
it doesn't
world to
exist.
stage a blank canvas for players to make their own. Everything players use in the game has to be crafted, starting with your home. We've
Minecraft.
been amazed at the level of creativity our players have shown using the modular
lot.
building system in the game.
Remember, we
And
built like
when
that
full
massive
clans
castle in
join
like a
forces,
week.
Whole player-created civilizations start to emerge.
Yeah, this is nuts.
Our vision for PAX Day required us to address
Minecraft
heads-on
the movie.
classic challenges
No.
any MMO faces.
It's Unreal Engine
How to handle
5.5.
high player density. To tackle this, we created tech that dynamically distributes players across layers.
Yeah, keep in mind, like everything here was built by players. Every light was placed by a player. This is all player made. This is like, I feel like, I mean, obviously this game needs.
This is like Sims, but in medieval age. That's what I think. Like, what is the gameplay? Where do I fight the mobs? Where do I fight the monsters? Show the combat. Where are the dungeons? Don't you guys play MMOs for that? Feels like a Sims game, dude.
work on its combat and its like game systems. It's like
Is me getting my laptop back
Like
tomorrow?
very
What
much a
laptop?
sandbox, and that's all it is.
Yeah.
But man, it's a good fucking sandbox.
I mean, it looks good, but it's gonna be boring
What
to
a
play.
good sandbox. Holy shit. Because one day somebody will make something like this that actually has the end game level progression of like Lost Ark. One day it will happen.
Ooh.
Not today, but one day.
1 year, maybe in the next 100 centuries.
This allows the server capacity to temporarily scale in the same location
Battery
whenever
got
that
corrupt
zone
and battery
requires
was
higher
adding before.
concurrency.
Ah, okay.
Player and world
Is it
state
fixed?
is persisted
Okay, Mrs.
across all the
Paxton.
layers, with each layer corresponding to a single Unreal server. For layering, clans can work together to build huge structures such as
nice.
cities, while
How much
still
did it
sharing
cost
the
you?
same persisted world. And all
Is it too
persistent
much?
states, such as buildings, inventories, and market stalls, is intelligently shared and replicated using a robust backend that ensures transactionality and
Gotta go
data
grab it
integrity.
tomorrow. Oh, nice.
And it's not only buildings. Every weapon, dress, or piece of armor in PAX Day is player created. We work hard on giving each item a level of detail that will make players proud of having crafted it. And soon we're going to be adding a lot of depth to detail in PAX Day.
The guard
to make
wound
players
doesn't look
proud of
that
having
detailed. It looks like the wood got wounded instead of
crafted
got
it.
cut.
And soon we're going to be adding a lot of depth to this aspect of our game.
We're currently
Yeah.
upgrading
Unreal Engine 5, the best engine in the
Piece of
world.
armor
All
in
you find
PAX
is a
Day
fucking bear.
is
Look at that.
player created. We work hard on giving each item a level of detail that will make players proud of having crafted it. And soon we're going to be adding a
Look at this. This is the raid
lot
boss
of depth
right
to
there.
this aspect of our game.
We're currently upgrading our wear and tear system to dynamically adjust the appearances of individual pieces of equipment,
That's
reflecting how
crazy.
much damage is received.
Holy shit.
To know if it's time for repair.
Jesus.
We also built each item from the ground up to be modular, making it easy to adjust the fabric and color, add patterns or symbols, or change the trim.
God
With these
damn.
options, players will soon
I mean, this is the customization looks cool, but nobody is going to see this shit. Who the fuck is going to zoom in this hard to see your pattern on your armor? Who's going to do that?
be able to express as much creativity
It's amazing,
in customizing
yeah.
their appearance as they already enjoy in the building side of the game.
Yeah, this is like a Sims game, dude. This is a Sims game for MMO losers.
Holy shit.
Like, if I want to see an MMO, I want to see a boss fight, I want to see the combat, I want to see the gear, I want to see the mounts. That's all I can give a shit about. And I want to see the story.
Our game
looks really
requires
good.
the community to come alive.
Look at that.
To all
Yeah.
the players that have joined us in early access so far, thank you. We've been humbled
Show
by
me
your
my
feedback,
victims. Show me
support,
my
and
freaking
passion, and we couldn't do it without you.
what do you got?
If you want to
Spoils.
support a team making
That's what
something
I'm
fresh
interested
in the
in.
MMO space, please join our early access now and help us build a virtual world.
This actually looked impressive. Probably the pre-rendered. I don't know. Probably it could be a
in the MMO
pre-rendered.
space. Please join our early access now and help us build a virtual world that we can all inhabit for years to come. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you guys, like this, I feel like this is a good example of like what the possibilities are. And the fact that this, like, whenever I played this game, there was almost no lag. There wasn't a lot of stuff like that. A stretch to call this an MMO.
Oh,
Yeah, I
really?
feel like
That's
fundamentally
impressive.
it is an MMO. Like, I mean, you can say that the there's like bad gameplay, but I think the one thing you can't say is that it's not an MMO. That's the one thing that's like guaranteed. Yes, it absolutely is an MMO. Yeah, it's by definition MMO. Yeah, exactly. Once they get solid gameplay loop, it'll be like Sword Art Online. I don't know about that.
I don't think it's gonna be
think
Sword Art
that, like,
Online, but come
you're
on.
looking at something
What
that's
are
like
you
much
talking
more grounded, because like they're not really like I feel like this game takes the approach of like medieval fantasy, medieval European fantasy, if every fairy tale was true, and I think that's a good way of telling a story. I think people like that. Someone said that this it's Sims for men, basically. Yeah,
Yep.
instead of building a house, you're building a castle. I mean,
Yeah, that's all I said. Like, that's what I said too. It looks lame. This is a lame ass
it's
game.
not in they're not completely wrong, okay?
This guy will just play a character and then make a castle and then quit like 1 week and then say the game is good. Like if the people who actually want to invest on this game look at it and looks at how garbage
Star
it is
Citizen
and then
created
quit.
this. So you're talking about the server
Yeah.
meshing with the Star Citizen stuff. So I don't really have enough like tech knowledge to understand like
Like,
the
who
way the
cares,
server
man?
meshing works, but it seems very similar to what Star Citizen is doing. And also, to be fair though, Star Citizen uses a special engine. It's called, I think, Star Engine, and it's made explicitly for that game. Or sorry, for that game. We won't get Sword Art Online for at least another decade. So I think it's going to happen. I feel like the speed in which actually, so let me take a step back. I find it to be very surprising that more people didn't immediately freak out at the idea that a guy can play video games with his brain. Because they did this like over 6 months ago, I think maybe at this point, right? Or it was kind of a while ago.
I mean, there is a girl that's using the BCI and then playing the mind control Elden Ring. Have you guys seen this? You know, she literally played the game with mind control. It's there, but it's super primitive. I think it's going to take at least a decade, maybe even two, because more people are still very skeptical. Even myself is super skeptical about that. You know, who's going to want their brain to be read? You know?
And I feel like this kind of just got glossed over. But yes, like with Neuralink, exactly. I don't think people realize that's fucking insane. The girl did it in Elden Ring. No, the periwinkle, I know who you're talking about. She's using a different type of technology. So here's what the difference is.
The concept is the same.
This is my understanding of it.
Yeah, let's see what you think
is a
about it.
scientist. So the way that she uses it is that there is a machine that reads certain types of brain signals, and then it translates those brain signals into actions. But the problem is that the brain signals that it reads are not anything other than abstract concepts like waves or jumping or running. So you have to, you're basically using a, I don't know how can I really say this?
I think he is talking about how when in Sword Art Online you are literally inside the world and it's input output and it's both ways. But my argument would be it's a primitive technology that actually it's more like whenever the telephone was invented, you only can speak in voices, right? But now we have video call. It's basically like that. The differentiation. The concept is the same, but the implementation, the scale of it is bigger. You know, that's the difference between PCI and then the Sword Art Online Nerve Gear. Because Nerve Gear can do brain computer to brain interface, right? PCI. Brain computer interface, and then it's like computer to brain and brain to computer. It's like both ways, you know. I think we haven't reached yet, but the technology is the concept is kind of similar. Completely. But I think the best we can get is probably something like Ready Player One, maybe in the next decade. I mean, it's already existing. Have you guys played VR chat? It's basically Ready Player One, but shitty graphics. That's pretty much it, you know?
It's basically like you're using code words or code language with your brain in order to make the machine read a certain thing.
Yeah.
It's like a translator. Yeah, it's basically a translator.
Yeah. It's like a one-way trip. So it's just your brain to computer, but not in the other way. But Sword Art Online can do both in real time. In a sense, it's more seamless, but you are feeling like you are literally in there. Input and both output seamlessly.
But the difference between that and Neuralink, my understanding, is that Neuralink can transmit the actual thoughts into direct action with much less like resistance, right? You don't have to think of something abstract.
Latency,
You just have to think about move here, move there, and that's it.
No, he is not understanding it very well, but the technology in that one is basically it reads your brainwaves as well. Because the way it can kill you is basically sending you a brainwave signal into your brain and then giving you a brain death. Kinda. That's why people are locked inside the game. Because as soon as it they remove the helmet, it will just send you that signal, heavier signal, and then fries your brain, right?
And so that's what I
So,
think
yeah.
it is. But I really don't know enough about it. Yeah, much lower latency. Exactly. Vapor.
Yeah, I kind of know about that because for the 5 years I've been researching that shit because I was so obsessed with that because I love that technology.
I mean, it's not. It's
Not past 5 years, like it's like when I
clearly
was
not.
in
I mean, not
teens.
for him, it's not.
That's
You know,
like 10
they'll
years
try to make a
ago.
blind person see in 16 bits so they can see, they can make blind people see, they can inject graphics into our brain. Yeah, no, of course they can. That's not even a question. Like, of course they can do that.
It's there, but it's primitive, simple as
You
that.
don't think move left hand, you just do it? Exactly. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying, right? Is like it doesn't read into the translator, it just immediately takes the action and activates on the action. 16-bit? Yeah, well, yeah, that's how it's going to start, right? And I think also
16-bit, how it looks like. Oh god, it looks like this. Wait, at least you can see fucking thing. That's actually nice.
like this
This is way better than being fucking blind.
another issue is that a lot of people don't really have like a very good understanding of blindness. Very few people are actually completely blind where they can only see black, basically, right? Where like your eyes are closed. Most people have like a large percentage of blindness, but they can perceive like massive objects, right? Or something like that. It's not like a 100% or 0. Yeah, legally blind. Yeah, legally blind doesn't mean that you can't see anything. Sounds crazy, but yeah. Yeah, like, it's like me when I'm playing a new game. Exactly.
True. True.
EA made a
All right. I think that's enough for the reacts. Holy shit. We've been talking for how long? 1 hour video. Talking about graphics on Nerve Neuralink? Nerve gear. I think, yeah, it's going to take a long time. Like, it's super primitive right now. But here's the funny part. Like, even though it's primitive, I'm going to link this video on my chat so you can see that. Support their content if you like their content. Support my content if you like my content as well. But, like, when I say it's primitive, but it's super hard to gauge, if there is a demand, there is innovation. That's what I think. Because iPhone 9, not iPhone 9, iPhone 1 launched in 2009, and we are at now 2024. Have you seen how far iPhone gotten to? Like how much innovation happened in the smartphone industry? This is the funny part. Ignore iPhone. Pay attention to its competition. Android. You've seen how fast and how greater the phones gotten into? Like if there is a demand like that, we will have nerve gear, Neuralink, so much advanced in the future, but there has to be demand for that. You know, the problem with that is there is no need for it. That's why VR failed because it's uncomfortable. People don't really need it for, you know. But in the concept of Ready Player One, the world looks like shit, and people were in poverty, right? So the people looked for an alternative escape in the metaverse, basically. And then it was very successful there, and then the cheaper alternative came there, right? It's something like that has to happen, but I hope it doesn't because that means our world is going to get fucked. But I hope something just drives people to have demand for that kind of technology. That's what I think. Pretty much. I think this is a good time, good beginning for all of this kind of tech. I do appreciate the graphics that's coming out, but it's a performance. It's always be that, in my opinion. I think it's just objective at that point. If it runs like trash, who fucking cares, right? Alright.